For the last 2 decades, I've been immersed in the real estate industry as a realtor helping my clients in Columbia, South Carolina. During that time, I've also invested in real estate myself, and I've personally bought homes and moved 4 times with my own real estate purchases. Whether you're wanting to buy your first home or you really need to sell and buy your next home, I've learned over the years that there are key habits that stop people from buying a home. So today I want to ask you to listen until the end to see which of these bad habits are keeping you from making that move and to hear my thoughts on how to break free from them. The first habit, and what I consider to be the biggest one, is not setting any goals. You really need to consider, why are you buying a home? What is home ownership going to do for you? How long do you plan to own the home, and what are your plans for the home during your ownership of it? Do you have any expectations for what this home should do for you from a profit and investment standpoint? I really encourage you to take time to sit down and figure that out for yourself. It has a major impact on your home buying journey and your search, how you approach things, and how you're going to engage in the whole process. Start your search and your journey off on the right foot and really sit down and think about your goals and your plans for yourself and your ownership of a home. The second bad habit that I see that keeps people from buying a home is not managing your finances properly. Whether it is high debt, having a minimal savings, or having credit score troubles, or a combination of those and other financial bad habits, that's something that really does stop people from purchasing a home. I really encourage you to take control over your life and your finances and to come up with a plan to fix it. Look at your spending habits, make a budget and stick to it. And make a budget that is realistic for you. Come up with a plan to pay down your high debt, your higher interest rate debt, and come up with a plan to create an emergency fund for yourself. Before you become a homeowner, I think it's very important for you to master those habits now so that you can not only be a more responsible homeowner moving forward, but also a happier homeowner. You're going to have a lot less stress in your life if you are not constantly worried about money, bills, debt, and your spending habits. The third habit that I see affecting people and preventing them from buying a home is being afraid of losing money. And when I talk about losing money, it is generally the fear that you are going to lose money in the value of the home. And for a lot of first-time home buyers, they never really sit back and consider what the value of their loss is when they are renting, especially if you rent long-term. Let's break down some numbers and see what that looks like. Several years ago, I had some clients that were renting and wanted to purchase a home, and they were incredibly nervous about losing money. I went and looked back once they finally made their decision to purchase, and they had rented for 5 years. Now, I don't know how much they were spending in rent, but I'm going to give a really good educated guess that they were paying at least $1,000 a month. That's $12,000 a year. And over their 5 years of renting, that would have been $60,000 total that they paid in rent. And of course, when you rent, you lose every single penny that you pay into that rent. You're not building value, you're not building equity of any kind. So they lost $60,000 from spending 5 years of renting. And these were purchasers who could afford to purchase a home. They had the income, they had the credit, they had the down payment necessary to buy, but they were very afraid and very concerned about not making a wise purchase and losing money on the value of the home over time. Instead of making money during that 5-year period, which they would have done had they have made a wise purchase decision here in the Columbia area, they lost $60,000 in rent, but thankfully I was able to find a wonderful home for them, and their home is worth about $100,000 more now than what they paid for it several years ago. The fourth bad habit that stops many people from buying a home is not being educated about the home buying process. Listen, guys, if you are a first-time home buyer, buyer, please consider enrolling yourself in an educational course or reading a book about buying your first home. If you don't know where to go and you're looking for a resource that will very effectively and easily explain the home buying process to you, two great resources for you. I encourage you to subscribe to this channel and listen to as much home buyer education content as you can. It's totally free. And if you will check the description of this video, I'll also post a link there to my home buyer's guide that I wrote. I think you'll find it very informative, really easy to read, and there's a ton of value and education in there for you. Another option would be to just schedule a consultation and a strategy session with a real estate agent and become familiar with the steps of the process and what you need to do to get ready to purchase a home. If you are looking to purchase your next home and you already own a home that you're living in, I strongly encourage you to call your real estate agent. Go ahead and set up a time to meet with them and get educated and informed on what it looks like when you need to buy and sell. It's a lot different than when you purchase your home as a first-time buyer. There are a few more steps and layers to the process, and if you have the information and knowledge that you need, you'll be able to make great decisions and feel a lot more comfortable and a lot less stress moving forward. The fifth bad habit that stops many home buyers from being able to purchase a home is by not having the right team in place. And the two key figures in your real estate team are going to be your real estate agent and your mortgage lender. And when you don't have the right team in place, it effectively locks you out from fully understanding the home buying process, from understanding the market, from knowing about programs that are going to help you with your down payment needs, or even programs, options, and strategies that are going to effectively help you sell your current home and purchase your next home. If you don't already have a strong established relationship with a real estate agent or a mortgage lender that you trust, I strongly encourage you to do some research, select a few people to interview, sit down and talk to 2 or 3 realtors and mortgage lenders, and then make a decision to hire one person to represent you in that role. I promise if you put the time and effort into building the right team for yourself, you're not going to regret the process. The sixth bad habit that I see preventing people from being able to buy a home is listening to the wrong people. Whether it is the media on a national or local level talking about the state of the market, or if it's people in your own life, friends, family members, neighbors, colleagues who are talking to you about real estate, aspects of a real estate transaction, and they are not industry experts, or if it is a money or a finance coach who's promoting specific strategies that might possibly hold you back for several years from becoming a homeowner, I really ask you to consider to take a moment to step back and reconsider the narrative that they're giving you. When it comes to the media, real estate is hyper local. What the national media is talking about is not necessarily what is happening here in Columbia, South Carolina. What's happening here in Columbia is not the same as what's happening in Nashville, Tennessee, or San Francisco, Miami, or Tulsa, Oklahoma. Real estate's hyper local. Inventory levels differ from one location to another. The challenges and hurdles that home buyers like yourself are going to experience will be different from market to market. So you really need to get connected with the right team. That's going to be real estate agent and mortgage lender who can break down for you what is really happening where you want to live and own a home, and what programs exist that are going to be beneficial to you, that are going to help you accomplish that goal. For people that are in your life who want to give their input and their opinion and advice on your real estate journey, but they are not industry experts, you really need to first understand that they're more than likely coming at this with good intentions. They probably feel like they're being of service to you and that they're helping you. They also probably feel like they are just sharing their own story and their own journey with you, but their experience is not going to be your experience. And if they are not industry experts, there are just certain things that they're not going to have the high level knowledge and understanding of that they can give you that will actually benefit you. It's okay to let people people speak into certain areas of your life. If we're talking about our parents or our friends, that might be a topic where they have the knowledge and they know you well enough to speak into the type of lifestyle you're looking for, maybe what style of home you would really enjoy that would make you happy, possibly what your financial needs could be. If you're more conservative, they might be able to encourage you to be more fiscally conservative in your purchase. But I would not let, for example, my friend who is an accountant give me advice about foundations or plumbing or electrical components of a home. So really make sure that you're letting people speak into your life and in your process in areas where it makes sense for them to contribute. And let the industry experts and professionals fill that gap and bridge that gap on the things that really require expert knowledge. When we're talking about money and financial coaches, there's tons of programs out there that are going to help you get your finances and your mindset around money into a different, better place. And I think that's wonderful. I think that's great. But a lot of times what we see is that when this advice is received, what makes sense for someone who is living in a certain city, let's say Columbia, South Carolina, is not necessarily what's going to make sense for someone financially living in San Francisco or Miami or New York. If we're talking about money and finances and coming up with a cohesive plan to make your financial life better and work better for you, I think it's really important to take time to sit down and quantify things. If you take the time and effort to wait until you've saved up 20% for a down payment and you're renting that entire time, how long is it really going to take you to get there? How much money are you spending and losing on rent during that process? Would it make more sense to go ahead and purchase now instead of losing that money in rent? The value and equity that you have in your home could grow during that, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5-year period that you own the home, instead of sitting around waiting until you have 20% down and you're just losing thousands of dollars every year, every month in rent. So really take time to quantify the financial advice that you receive and make sure it's something that makes sense for you in your specific situation. So how do we get over this specific habit of talking to the wrong people about the wrong things? You do that by getting the facts for your local market. You make sure that you allow people in your sphere to only speak on topics that they're actually knowledgeable about. And make sure you take the time to sit down and crunch the numbers for those guru plans that you're thinking about. So now I want to hear it straight from you. Drop your answer in the comments and tell me which of these bad habits you're going to kick first. If this video was helpful, I hope that you'll consider hitting that like button and subscribing. You can also check the description for links to more helpful resources. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you back here next week.